Before you scroll away, pause for just a moment. Something inside your psyche has already recognized this message. Your unconscious mind guided you here, and Carl Jung spent his entire life proving that nothing in the inner world happens without meaning. Right now, in this very moment, there is a man whose thoughts drift back to you more than he openly admits. You may not fully see it yet. You may not completely grasp how deeply his feelings run, the way his inner world carries quiet, unspoken emotions whenever your presence moves through his consciousness. But there is something significant you need to understand, something that has been waiting beneath the surface, holding its shape, ready to reveal itself with full clarity at exactly the right moment. This man is deeply, genuinely, and completely in love with you. Before you keep scrolling, I need you to take a small but powerful step. Breathe. Quiet the noise around you and allow yourself to feel what is already stirring beneath your thoughts. Your deeper psyche is communicating something to you through this message, not through words, but through recognition. That quiet, undeniable sense that what you are hearing is not new information. It is confirmation of something you already knew. Welcome to Carl Jung Psychology. Your unconscious mind did not bring you here randomly. These words did not appear before you without purpose. If this is your first time on this channel, understand that this is a space created specifically for psychological depth, emotional clarity, and the kind of self-understanding that permanently transforms how you see yourself and the people in your life. Every video here is built to give you the insight that most people are never handed, because most people never take the time to look inward. Subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because the content on this channel goes far deeper than surface-level relationship advice. What you receive here stays with you. There is something important you need to understand before we continue. Something designed to bring clarity rather than confusion. The message itself is simple, but psychologically profound. This man genuinely loves you. With real feeling, real depth, real sincerity. Yet there is another woman still connected to his life. And Carl Jung's framework of the unconscious mind can show you exactly what this means, what it reveals about his psychological state, and what it requires of you before confusion, emotional pain, or unnecessary self-doubt settles permanently into your spirit. If you are still watching this, you are already part of the rare few who are willing to face what most people spend their entire lives running from. 97% of people scroll past content like this, not because it does not reach them, but because it reaches them too deeply. If this is already moving something inside you, subscribe to Carl Jung Psychology right now and turn on notifications. What you are about to hear does not just explain why a man can love you and still remain connected to another woman. It will permanently change how you see yourself. This man's feelings for you are genuine. His emotional pull toward you is not casual or shallow. When he is near you, something in his psyche settles into a kind of calm that he cannot easily replicate elsewhere. His energy rises in your presence, and even when distance separates you physically, his thoughts return to you with a consistency he may not fully understand himself. You occupy a space in his inner world that cannot be easily explained, easily dismissed, or easily replaced. Yet another woman remains present in his life, and Jung would tell you immediately that this is one of the most psychologically layered situations a human heart can find itself navigating. This is not a simple story of betrayal. It is not straightforward dishonesty. What is happening beneath the visible surface is far more complex, far more unconscious, and far more psychologically revealing than it appears from the outside. Understanding it clearly through the lens of Jungian psychology will give you something infinitely more valuable than temporary comfort. It will give you genuine, lasting discernment. Jung introduced the concept of the anima, the deep feminine archetype that lives within every man's unconscious mind. This inner figure is not a real woman. It is a psychological image, a pattern formed through early childhood experiences, through first attachments, through emotional loss, longing, memory, and unresolved longing. The anima shapes who a man is instinctively drawn toward, who he loves, and, perhaps most critically, who he finds himself unable to release, even when his conscious mind has genuinely decided to move forward. When a man remains psychologically connected to another woman, even while genuinely loving you, it frequently means that his anima, his unconscious image of the feminine, is still partially anchored to her. Not because she is more worthy than you, not because his love for you is manufactured or false, but because unresolved psychological attachments operate at a level beneath conscious awareness. They pull at a man's inner world in ways he cannot always identify, name, or explain, even to himself. This is precisely why Jung always insisted that watching the man's behavior over time reveals far more than listening to his words in a single emotional moment. The unconscious always expresses itself through repeated patterns of action, through what we do consistently without fully examining why. Does his behavior consistently and clearly orient itself toward you, with presence, protection, emotional availability, and forward motion? Or does his loyalty remain partially suspended, warm in some moments, absent in others, offering real affection while his deeper psychological attachments remain quietly, stubbornly unresolved? Now, before we go deeper into this, pause and drop a comment below. Type the number that most honestly resonates with where you are right now. Type 777 if this message feels like it is speaking directly into your exact situation. Type 11 if you sense that you are standing at a psychological turning point in this relationship, a moment where something is about to shift. Type 520 if you already know, somewhere deep in your gut, exactly what the truth of this situation is and exactly what needs to happen. Carl Jung was deeply fascinated by synchronicity, the meaningful connection between inner psychological states and outer experience. Choosing a number that genuinely resonates is not just a comment. It is a moment of honest self-recognition. And Jung would tell you that self-recognition is where every real change begins. The presence of another woman in this man's life does not automatically or inevitably mean betrayal in the conventional sense. Jung would reframe the question entirely. What psychological role does she occupy in his inner world? Is she a genuine covenant, Someone his deeper self at the level of the unconscious is still actively choosing? Or is she what Jung called a shadow attachment, an unresolved emotional bond that his ego has not yet found the courage to consciously examine, acknowledge, and release? Shadow attachments are among the most prevalent and most misunderstood forces operating within human relationships. Jung defined the shadow as the unconscious dimension of the psyche that holds everything we have not yet integrated: unresolved emotions, buried fears, incomplete psychological cycles, and unfinished relational business from the past. A man who remains connected to another woman while genuinely loving you may be carrying a shadow attachment he has never fully examined. He may be entirely unaware of its psychological weight and reach. He may sincerely believe on the surface of his conscious mind that he is ready to be fully present, while his unconscious continues to operate from a pattern he has never consciously chosen to confront. And here is what Jung would say to you with complete directness: you cannot heal what you cannot see. If this man has not undertaken the inner work of honestly examining why this other woman still occupies psychological space in his life, why she still surfaces in his thoughts, still influences his choices, still holds a kind of unspoken gravitational pull, then his feelings for you, however real and however sincere, will continue to exist in competition with an unconscious force he has not consciously chosen to release. This is the core reason Jung placed such profound emphasis on individuation, the ongoing, lifelong process of becoming fully and authentically yourself by bringing unconscious content into the light of conscious awareness. A man who is genuinely prepared for a complete, whole, and deeply committed relationship is a man who has begun this process in earnest. He is someone who can look honestly and without defensiveness at his own attachments, acknowledge what they represent, and consciously, deliberately choose to release what no longer aligns with who he is in the process of becoming. The question you must hold with total honesty is not simply whether he loves you. The answer to that question may genuinely be yes, and that yes may be entirely real. The deeper, more psychologically significant question is this: is he actively doing the inner work that genuine readiness for full commitment requires? Or is he expecting the force of his feelings to carry him past the shadow work he has not yet faced? Love is real, but psychological readiness is not automatic. True presence in a relationship, the kind of presence that creates safety, consistency, and wholeness, requires far more than feeling. It requires self-awareness, emotional honesty, and the willingness to look clearly at the shadow rather than remain in the comfortable familiarity of its unexamined weight. If this is landing somewhere real inside you, if these words are touching something you have been quietly carrying for longer than you want to admit, subscribe to Carl Jung Psychology right now. Every video on this channel is designed to give you exactly this: the psychological depth, the inner clarity, and the capacity for self-understanding that makes genuine, lasting love not just possible, but inevitable. Turn on notifications. What comes next in this video and on this channel will go far beyond what you have heard today. Let us look now at the specific indicators, not through wishful interpretation, but through the clear, steady lens of Jungian psychological discernment. These are the markers that reveal whether the love this man carries for you is accompanied by the psychological maturity and readiness that genuine commitment requires. The first and most foundational indicator is fruit over words. Jung was absolutely consistent on this point across decades of clinical practice. The psyche always expresses its truest state through behavior over time, not through declarations in emotionally charged moments. A man may speak of his love with complete sincerity in one moment and still be psychologically incapable, at the level of the unconscious, of following through with the consistent, loyal, present behavior that sincere love ultimately demands. Watch not what he says when emotion runs high and the connection feels electric. Watch what he does in the quiet, unremarkable, ordinary stretches of daily life. Does his behavior reflect someone who is actively and deliberately choosing you every day, not just on the days when choosing feels easy? Or does it reflect someone whose conscious intentions are genuine, but whose unconscious attachments continue to pull his actions in more than one direction? The second indicator is the quality of your peace. Jung wrote at considerable length about psychological harmony as one of the most reliable signals of authentic inner alignment. True psychological compatibility, the kind rooted in something deeper than surface attraction, does not chronically generate anxiety. It does not trap you in a continuous cycle of decoding, second-guessing, and comparing yourself to someone else. When a connection is genuinely and deeply aligned, when a man's conscious self and unconscious self are both at every level oriented toward you, the lived experience of that connection carries a particular quality of settled, grounded, unforced peace. If you find yourself perpetually unsettled in this dynamic, always interpreting his signals, always recalculating where you actually stand, always searching his words for confirmation that never fully lands, that restlessness is not a personal failure. It is not anxiety you need to manage better. It is your psyche sending you an honest, persistent, and important signal. Jung would say this without ambiguity. The unconscious knows the truth before the conscious mind is ready to accept it. It communicates through feeling, through intuition, through the persistent discomfort that arises when something is fundamentally misaligned with your deeper self. Learning to honor that signal, rather than dismissing it in favor of hope, is one of the most important psychological skills you will ever develop in the context of love. The third indicator is sacrifice. Genuine love, in the Jungian framework, requires what he understood as the willingness to surrender the ego's comfort in service of a deeper psychological truth. A man who genuinely loves you and has undertaken real inner work will willingly release the shadow attachments that compete with your connection. He will not ask you, even implicitly, even through silence, to share what should remain sacred. He will not position you as a participant in an emotional competition you never agreed to enter. Real love requires a form of psychological sacrifice, the conscious setting aside of familiar, unresolved attachments in full service of a chosen, deliberate commitment. If he consistently, in ways large or small, asks you to accept less than wholeness, pay close attention. That pattern is not love in need of more patience. It is ego seeking the comfort of an audience without the accountability of genuine choice. Drop a comment right now. Type 777 if you have been patiently offering your presence to a connection that keeps withholding full clarity. Type 11 if you feel, genuinely, somewhere beneath all the hoping, that something in this situation is shifting and a decision is becoming unavoidable. Type 520 if this video is putting precise psychological language to something your intuition has already been communicating for a very long time. The fourth indicator is shared vision. Jung understood that authentic psychological partnership is never merely attraction. It is two individuals whose deepest values, sense of purpose, and fundamental direction in life are meaningfully and genuinely aligned. Does this man speak openly and concretely about building a shared future with you? Does he actively include you in how he envisions his life unfolding, not in vague, occasional moments of warmth, but in the structural, forward-moving conversations of genuine partnership? Or does he keep the future deliberately undefined, emotionally available in some moments, but directionally vague in ways that conveniently protect him from having to make a clear, visible choice? A psychologically ready partner does not remain permanently suspended in beautiful ambiguity. Two people who are genuinely and deeply aligned at the level of the unconscious as well as the conscious build together. They move forward together. They create something shared that neither could construct alone. If your connection persistently lacks this forward motion, if clarity always seems just one more conversation away, one more difficult situation away, one more resolution of some external complication away, then something essential in the unconscious architecture of this connection remains unresolved. The fifth indicator is psychological courage. Jung stated repeatedly and with great conviction that one of the most significant barriers to authentic love is not a lack of feeling, but a deficit of courage. Specifically, the unconscious avoidance of the vulnerability, exposure, and full commitment that genuine love ultimately requires. Many men feel real love. Not all have developed the psychological courage to act on it completely and without reservation. A man who is genuinely your partner at the deepest level of psychological alignment will not hide your connection from the world. He will not strategically delay choosing. He will not maintain your position as a background option while the visible foreground of his life remains occupied elsewhere. Psychological courage in love is not the complete absence of fear. It is the conscious, deliberate decision to move toward truth in spite of fear. A man of genuine psychological maturity will choose openly, clearly, and without relying on ambiguity as a form of self-protection. The sixth indicator is consistency across time. Jung drew a clear and important distinction between the surface turbulence of infatuation and the deeper, steadier current of genuine psychological attachment. Infatuation is brilliant and consuming, but it is, by its nature, unstable. It runs warm in one moment and noticeably cool in the next. It is intensely present in one period and inexplicably absent in the next. Real love, the kind that is rooted in genuine psychological depth and anchored in genuine self-knowledge, is steady. It does not perform exclusively in the inspiring, elevated moments of connection and then quietly disappear during the ordinary, unremarkable stretches of daily life. If his presence in your experience is fundamentally characterized by inconsistency, peaks of warmth followed by withdrawal, closeness followed by distance, declarations followed by silence, that pattern is not love waiting for the right conditions to stabilize. It is unconscious ambivalence that has not yet been examined, acknowledged, or resolved. And no amount of patience, understanding, or emotional generosity on your part can resolve an inner division that belongs entirely to him. Here is where everything converges. The truth that Carl Jung would want you to carry beyond this video and into every relationship decision you face going forward. You do not need to pursue anyone into clarity. You do not need to compete for space in someone else's unresolved psychological narrative. You do not need to wait in indefinite suspension while another person slowly works through the inner divisions that have nothing to do with your worth and everything to do with their own unfinished inner work. You were not created to exist as an option in someone else's psychological story. You are a complete, whole individual, fully capable of genuine, deep, and completely reciprocated love. The connection that is truly aligned with you will not ask you to lose yourself in order to receive it. It will not require you to suppress your discernment, shrink your standards, or override the honest signals your own psyche has been consistently sending you. Jung believed that the single most courageous psychological act available to a human being is not fighting for someone who cannot yet choose you. It is choosing yourself, fully, consciously, and without apology, so that when the right connection enters your life, you are completely present and completely available to receive it. Subscribe to Carl Jung Psychology. Turn on every notification. Share this video with someone you know who is navigating a situation like this right now. Someone carrying the quiet weight of loving a man whose heart is divided. The reach of this channel grows when people like you bring these insights to the people in your life who need them most. If this man is genuinely the person your deeper self recognizes, if his love is real and his psychological growth is genuine and moving in a clear direction, then his actions will make that undeniable over time. You will not need to decode his behavior or interpret his silences. Clarity will emerge through consistent action, through visible courage, through deliberate and unambiguous choice, not through periodic reassurance followed by renewed uncertainty. And if clarity consistently fails to arrive, if the pattern of divided loyalty and psychological ambiguity continues, then your psyche is not asking you to try harder or hope more deeply. It is asking you to trust something far more important than optimism. It is asking you to trust your own psychological discernment. The inner voice that says, quietly and without drama, what is genuinely and completely mine will never require me to compete for it. Before we close, leave one final honest comment. Type 777 if you now see this situation with a clarity that was not there when you started watching. Type 11 if you feel genuinely in your bones that a turning point is near and a decision is approaching that can no longer be avoided. Type 520 if this video gave you the precise psychological language for something your heart has already known for a long time but could not quite name. Your comment is not simply engagement. It is a moment of genuine self-recognition, and Jung would tell you with absolute certainty that self-recognition is the starting point of every real transformation. If this touched something real in you, share it.
The people who most need psychological clarity in their love lives are often the ones who feel most profoundly alone in their confusion. Your decision to share this video today might be the exact thing that shifts someone else's entire inner world. Now, because Carl Jung always insisted that wisdom must be practical to be truly useful, here is what you actually do if you find yourself in this situation. If you have arrived at the honest understanding that the man who loves you is still psychologically connected to another woman, what does Jungian psychology prescribe as your path forward? The first step is to go inward before you go outward. Before you initiate the conversation with him, have the far more important conversation with yourself. What does your own psyche tell you when you genuinely quiet the competing voices of hope, fear, and desire? When you remove the wish for a specific outcome and simply listen, what does your deeper intuition actually say? Jung called this the voice of the self, the deeper, wiser psychological center that exists beneath the surface noise of ego and emotion. Learning to hear it, to trust it, and to act from it is not weakness. It is the very foundation of psychological self-knowledge. The second step is to distinguish clearly between desire and discernment. Desire says, "I want this to work because of how it makes me feel." Discernment says, "I will see this clearly because of what it genuinely is." Both are legitimate aspects of being human, but only discernment can protect you from investing your deepest self in something structurally unable to return that investment. Jung dedicated his entire career to illuminating the difference between what the ego wants and what the deeper self actually requires. Learning to recognize that distinction, specifically in the context of love, is among the most powerful and most protective psychological capacities you will ever cultivate. The third step is to observe without attachment to outcome. This is perhaps the most challenging psychological practice available when you are deeply emotionally invested. When we care profoundly, objectivity can feel almost impossible. But the capacity to observe his behavior, not his stated intentions, not the story he tells about his feelings, not the explanations he offers for his actions. His actual, repeated, consistent behavior over real time is the clearest and most reliable window into the psychological reality of what this connection genuinely is and where it is authentically headed. Jung wrote extensively about projection, the unconscious tendency to see in others what we have not yet fully acknowledged in ourselves. In romantic love, projection operates in both directions with enormous power. We sometimes perceive clarity where genuine ambiguity exists because we project our own urgent need for resolution onto someone else's unresolved inner world. When you learn to observe without the distortion of projection, when you allow yourself to see what is genuinely present rather than what you need to be present, you gain a quality of psychological clarity that changes not just this relationship, but every relationship that follows. Your individuation process did not pause while you have been waiting. It has continued. It has deepened. And every moment you have spent in genuine self-reflection, every moment you have chosen honest discernment over the comfort of denial, you have become more fully yourself. And in becoming more fully yourself, you become more completely available to the love that can actually meet you there. Not a love built on uncertainty and fragile hope, a love built on truth, wholeness, mutual psychological readiness, and genuine, unambiguous choice. You were never meant to sit in emotional suspension. You were never designed to be a background presence in someone else's unresolved story. You are someone's answered prayer, not a question left open for convenience. And the love that is truly prepared for you will arrive without confusion, without competition, and without the requirement that you sacrifice your clarity just to hold a place in it. Subscribe to Carl Jung Psychology. Stay connected and trust with the full weight of your most honest self that what is genuinely and completely yours is already in motion toward you. You are not waiting passively for something to begin. You are already, right now, in the process of becoming exactly the person you need to be in order to receive it. You proved that today. You proved it the moment you chose not to scroll past this. There is one final psychological truth that Carl Jung returned to again and again, and it may be the most important thing you hear in this entire video. The people we love most deeply are never random. Jung called this the principle of psychological mirroring. The individuals who enter our lives with the greatest emotional intensity, the ones whose presence unsettles us the most profoundly, the ones whose divided loyalty causes us the deepest confusion, they are not there by accident. They appear at precise moments in our individuation journey because they carry something our own psyche needs to examine. This man, the one whose heart is partially yours and partially somewhere else, is not simply a source of pain or confusion. He is, in the Jungian sense, a mirror. His division reflects something your psyche is being asked to look at honestly. Perhaps it is the part of you that has accepted incompleteness as familiar. Perhaps it is the part of you that has quietly believed, beneath all the hoping, that a whole and undivided love was not something you were fully permitted to expect. Perhaps it is the part of you that has confused intensity with readiness and emotional depth with psychological availability. Jung would not ask you to blame yourself for any of this. He would ask you to see it, because seeing it clearly, without self-judgment, is the precise moment it loses its power over your choices. The most psychologically mature thing you can do right now is not to decide what to do about him. It is to decide what you genuinely believe you deserve. Not what you are willing to settle for, not what feels realistic given the circumstances, what you actually, honestly, at the deepest level of your self-knowledge, believe you are worthy of receiving in love. Because Jung understood something that most relationship advice never reaches. You will only ever allow into your life
what your unconscious believes you deserve. Change that belief. Do the inner work of truly, completely knowing your own worth, and the outer reality of your relationships begins to shift in ways that feel almost inevitable. That is the real work. And this channel exists to walk alongside you through every step of it. Subscribe to Carl Jung Psychology. The transformation you are looking for does not begin with him. It begins right here, with you, in exactly this moment.